Good evening, my friends. This is VJ Franz K. What's going on here? It's a robot octopus. This is what I built inside Synth VR, which is a new app for exploring electronic music, modular synthesizers, inside virtual reality. You can build your own studio, and your studio doesn't have to be limited by the features of reality, shall we say. We don't have to worry about gravity or these other limitations. Don't have to worry about cost of all of these different modules, which would be very expensive. But we do have to worry about the power of your processor. So you're going to need a strong gaming PC to be able to run this. Or, you know, it scales, basically. The amount of things that you can operate on the screen will vary by your graphics card. But isn't this amazing? I will explain exactly what I'm doing here, each step. So this octopus is a central mixer. The body of the octopus mixes signals from each one of these different tentacle arms. Each one of the arms has a speaker at the end, which is playing part of the melody. Then they're all mixed together into the top mixer on the head and split out to those two speakers that look like eyes. And then the environment is being controlled by the sequencer as well, so it goes along with the music. I'm going to look at each one of these arms and I'll sort of show you what is happening. Over here there's a drum section. This is sort of a metronome, snares or hats. Here's the first part of the melody, the bass line, and it's synchronized up to the master clock on the octopus's head, which is then split out with this clock device here. So it goes into this pattern. I can set the notes of this bass line by adjusting these. I can change the sound here. It's a complicated oscillator. I can adjust the tuning, other things here. Here's the mixer. Over here, each arm I've tried to build with a different sort of set of sound generating techniques. And each one has a little bit of a different sound to it. So I'm going to realign myself in reality here. Then move back a step over here. So over here, this is the next step. It's a sequence, a more simple sequencer here, and then playing this mid-range pattern. Have these echoey noises going on, and I have one of these. You could call it a laser tracker or something like that. It lets you affect the sound, and XYZ coordinates have been patched into points here. So it's changing things about the sound. Alright. What's going on over here? It's oscillators. I'll turn this one up a little bit so you can hear that sound. Science fiction type sounds, the way you would hear in the 60s to 70s, maybe early 80s. An oscillator, a low frequency oscillator, oscillating another oscillator. And then we have this echo and reverb here. Crazy, interesting sounds. And it does sort of fits because this undersea type idea of a robot octopus. I'll go over here and look at this one. Sort of sounds like somebody is tuning up their turn this one down a bit. There we go. Just a little bit of noise in the background there. It's like a bunch of people playing in a very large room. This one sounds a bit like someone practicing their scales, and that's exactly what it is. LFO is feeding into here a note thing, which takes that oscillation and turns it into notes of a scale. You can get different parts of the piano involved there, but anyway, another oscillator that we can adjust, going through a filter and then into another one of these space reverbs here. Gives it a sense of space. I'll keep looking. We still have a few arms to go here. I'm inside the synthesizer because another thing about a lot of VR apps is you don't have to worry about, you can walk through things. They don't have solidity to them necessarily, but they look solid. They're a little bit larger than a standard modular synth would be, but what is going on here? This one has addition and then subtraction. See, these LFO signals are being added together. Turn up the wave a little bit so you can hear it. Sounds like video game sounds, doesn't it? And that is because a lot of video game sounds in the early 80s are made this way. Addition and then subtraction or multiplication, various simple arithmetic, and then is controlling a oscillator to make a sound. And change the waves on these things. Get various crazy beeping sound effects. I'm going to keep walking over here. This is our last, I need to stand over here so I can see where it is. The last thing here. So this is connected in with the main timing, and it is controlling an envelope. And the envelope controls this noise module here. It's making something that sort of sounds like crashing metal, or maybe the ocean crashing against the shore. And the echo the echo timing, and then into another one of these reverbs here. And yes, I could have patched everything into a master reverb if I was doing things a bit more complicated, but interesting sort of decentralized mixing here. It is centralized, but each arm has its own interesting things going on here. Another one of these laser trackers on the drum section here. Got my kick drum. Then this sort of tapping drum here. This LFO is affecting this sort of metal sounding drum over here. Turn this up so you can hear it a bit more. You hear that sort of go ahead and change this a bit more. This prime pattern, it's a bit different than the standard piano roll that you get on an app, but These are meant to be like the sequencers that you will have in a modular synth, Euro rack style, or there's other standards of modular from the past. Changing the overall sound a bit. I got this one kind of out of tune at this point, but some of the fun is just messing around a bit. And another thing about a virtual modular synth like this is you have save slots. So at any time I can reload my thing and take it back to the original way that it was. It's pretty cool when it does this too. Load. You can watch it reassembling itself right there. Very cool. This one has a clock multiplier, so it can do its thing fast or slow. I've got to remember to toggle on this sound thing. I have this central mixer, all of these things getting mixed together. I sometimes talk about the creative octopus, which is something I'm going to animate in the future. But a creative person is kind of like a creative octopus, because you have one mind, one sort of central understanding of what the creative process is, but you might have different arms that do different things. Those might be the different ways you express your creativity, or the different sides of your personality, or the way you are involved in society for work, leisure, and other parts of your life. And an interesting person is always perhaps developing new parts of their life, or just with what they know, they're expanding into the things that they don't know. So, build outward. I am very impressed with this program. It gets my high recommendation for those who have a virtual reality setup. If you like music, electronic, experimental, these type of things, you'll have an interesting time here. It might be good for you to have some knowledge of what modular synthesizers are, but if you don't, this would be an excellent way to actually learn about how synthesizers or modular synthesizers work here. From the main clock there, I'd have to adjust my height here so I can reach the top of the head. Where did I go? Over here. Environment. See, player. Make myself taller. Now I'm quite tall, and I can adjust the master clock speed and slow it all down if I want to. Or I can speed it way up. You see, so we're coming to a close, so I'm going to slow it down a bit. But that is going down here. And it is being split out to these different divisions of the speed. I could adjust the speed here as well. Could I? No, actually I couldn't, because it's coming in from here. So it's the external clock. But these are splitters to split it out to various things. the universe controls the background here, the sky, the stadium around me, and then different parts of the arms are being controlled by the timing in here. So that is cool. I've had a very interesting time doing this. I like the idea of it being a sculpture, but it's also completely functional as a situation. Originally, I was just going to make a random pattern with everything being all over the place, but then I was thinking of the octopus conversation that I had earlier today online, and so seemed like the perfect thing to build with all of these modular racks. Please subscribe to VJ Franz K. I do a lot of things about electronic music and graphics and video projections, graphic design and things like that, but I'm trying to broaden out to creative tech in general, so that's the software and the hardware that you need to make your creative dreams come true, whatever those are. And so we're looking into all kinds of things. We're looking into creative theory as to how do you have a good idea, how do you generate a good idea when you need one, how do you decide what ideas are good, because in fact sometimes someone else has an idea later that you thought was good, you thought was bad, they have the idea and they realize the goodness of it. They realize it, and you are left wondering, why didn't I do that? Well, we're going to get to the bottom of that, and please subscribe to my channel and consider becoming a Patreon supporter of what I'm doing on the channel here. I'm going to be expanding the real studio as well as this virtual reality one, but a lot of good things there. I will help you set up your real studio in real life. I'll tell you what devices and software you need and which you don't, because it is rather confusing. With all of the stuff that we have now, it is a bit of it's like a banquet with too many dishes to choose from, so you'll have to figure that out. But if you have any questions or comments, as always, just write them down there below the video, and share the video with your friends and on social media, because that is a great way to spread the word and get good conversations going. This is a drum sound. It's sort of like a little ticking metronome here, except the oscillator is controlling the feature, the pitches of the tapping noise there. The virtual reality synthesizer octopus. This has been VJ Franz K, and I'll be back very soon with more videos. Thank you very much for watching.